It's a goal! Can you believe it? It's extraordinary!
Keeps it in, Eddie! He keeps it in! Oh, look at Eddie Betts! Absolute superstar!
The Crows. Tex Walker had a bad moment a few weeks ago. He's been brilliant since. Rory Sloane, there was a doubt with the hamstring. He was super. Greenwood was terrific. And you know, the Giants really challenged the Crows, but they responded.
Yeah, certainly did. They got off to a flyer, the Crows, and then, yeah, the Giants come back at them. But their response in the last, I think, 10 minutes, mainly the last 5 minutes of the game from the Crows, where they just piled on goal after goal. I know we spoke about Tex Walker, Josh Jenkins back in the side, but some key personnel going into their back six. They're very difficult to score against. And look, they've had a bit of an up and down start to the year, but they could get motoring in the back half here.
Yeah. Eddie Betts, Dane. I think we've got to change which is his favourite pocket. He used to get the mail sent to the forward pocket right. Now it's forward pocket left at the stand end.
Well, the problem is he's got a couple of pockets up at Brisbane at the moment as well. We found out those a couple of weeks ago. It's just incredible what he's been able to do over such an illustrious career, really. And his highlight reel will continue to grow week after week, and that was another exceptional.
So that was last night. Let's just see what he's done in the last few years from the similar spot. So Indigenous round, I don't know whether that's the best, Jimmy, but the left foot top from sort of 45, 50 to trickle it through, it's 9 out of 10. Grigor, what's this worth?
Oh, I reckon this is the best one.
Yeah.
This took him on. It's all against the Giants as well. They've been on the rough end of them.
Giants and Suns. Left foot.
That's for mine.
Is it?
Yeah, the degree of difficulty on that is phenomenal.
Well, it's hard to believe you can do it so often. Yeah. Once you probably think you got lucky.
No fluke.
No fluke.
You see him practice it all the time, and his little boys too. I noticed on Instagram they kick him from all angles too.
Yeah.
We played some good footy, and tonight that game sort of ebbed and flowed a bit, and we were able to, when we were asked the question in the last quarter, to find the composure and the capacity and the moments to impact the game, and that's what you need your leaders and your best players to do, and that's what our guys were able to do tonight. I was super proud of the players and their efforts in that last quarter, and we're really determined to get a result tonight. So yeah, really pleased.
John Pike in charge of the Crows. They're 7-5. They're knocking on the door of the 4. They beat the Demons last week in a cliffhanger, and then the Giants, it was a beauty. They just sort of snuck away in the end, but I don't reckon the scoreline reflects how tight it was.
That's right, Hayne. It was a cracking game, and the late out you'd think would have hurt Adelaide with Tom Lynch missing, but they covered him really well. The Giants really struggled to get their ball movement up and going, with the Adelaide defence really stifling that ball movement. Eddie Betts doing what Eddie Betts does, putting one through the big sticks. Good to see Josh Jenkins back as well. GWS only had 17 inside 50s in that first half, so the defence was right on, and the third quarter was a bit of an arm wrestle. GWS had a few chances, and amazingly they were still in the game, only just behind at three-quarter time, and then the Crows leaders really got to work when the game needed to be won. In front of the big crowd, we saw Eddie Betts stand up, we saw Rory Sloane stand up, crouch there, and big Tex Walker was absolutely huge in that last quarter. Here's Eddie, from this pocket we spoke about,
put it in.
Does not even try, goes straight through the middle, celebrates to the crowd. How good's that?
Rory Sloane sliding to it, he's almost as good as the goal.
It's a good soccer celebration, wasn't it? The three things I learnt from the game: the Giants struggled with the Crows' zone defence. 17 inside 50s in the first half really showed that. Number two, Adelaide's leaders stood up when it counted. Tex Walker, Rory Sloane, Eddie Betts. Last quarter, when the whips were cracking, they were the ones to get them over the line. And the third is Riley O'Brien has made a case for the Crows rucks to pick two. He's come in, he's played fantastic. I think it's going to be a bit of a selection dilemma with Big Sauce. I think he's still an automatic selection for mine, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Grigor, you mentioned Big Tex Walker. He cops a lot of criticism, especially over there in Adelaide, and Josh Jenkins, who's been in and out of the side. How did you see those two men's game? Because we know how good Tex is with ball in hand.
Yeah, he's been hammered a bit the last couple of weeks, Tex. And look at this. This is the big captain's mark we saw. And
big moment too, 3 down.
I hope he gets the applauses that he deserved from this game as well, because his back was against the wall and he really stood up. Josh Jenkins as well was a really handy in, and it was good to give Himmelberg a run at it, but yeah, I think Josh is going to be hard to push out of the team now.
Grigor, you mentioned in your three things their defence. How are teams now going to play them? They're so good at stopping teams from scoring. They set up so well behind the ball. What's the best form of attack taking on this defence?
Yeah, they do, and especially at this ground, they know it so well. You have to try and shift them. You need to be able to go fast and sometimes slow. I don't think it's just one method that'll beat them.
Yep.
Well, the Giants, I'm not sure whether they lost any admirers, Jimmy, out of that, though.
No, we mentioned in the opener, that was an absolute arm wrestle. I know that the Crows poured it on late, but yeah, there were some key numbers that they lost, and I think we'll hear from Leon Cameron shortly. And I think he addresses that, and that's where they got beaten in the game in the end.
Okay, let's get to the coach.
We're minus 20 in our contested possession. That's probably a good indicator. Doesn't mean everything, but it's probably a pretty good indicator that they were probably just that little bit more committed for the whole 120 minutes and got the job done when it needed to be done.
So North at Blundstone for the Giants, suddenly that looks a lot different to 3 weeks ago from a North perspective, Gregor.
Absolutely. Yeah, and as we can see, if you're off 10%, it's going to be hard to win. But yeah, especially North down there, it's difficult conditions. It's not Bondi Beach, is it? No, Tasmania.
Absolutely. And the Crows, where do you have them? 7 and 5 knocking on the door of the 4. Next 5, I think, is going to pop up here. Yeah,
I think that last quarter win up in Darwin when they sort of fought back when Melbourne was all over them. Sometimes you need those quarters where you grit out a win away from home and the group goes interstate up there and it builds confidence. And we saw that. They were played with some, I guess, real passion the other night. Rory Sloane leading the way, but those two Crouch boys were dominant in the midfield.
Tigers on Thursday night. Who wins? Adelaide Oval.
Only because it's in Adelaide, and I think the injuries are starting to pile up for Richmond at the moment. I think they need a bit of a rest and a bye to get them a few back. So I'm just going to tip the Crows in that one.
Okay. Quick break. Top 5 outfits in the Big Three's history. Kathleen, she's got some injury news, and Sammy Mitchell, he's in the realestate.com.au room. Tadamoke over. Big thanks to Dan Cameron and the team. Sammy's brought his kids. Might make them next.